Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Hey,
yes.
Hey, Jess.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Jess.
Hey, Jess.
how's
Hey, Jess.
Good evening.
good evening? All right, let me just put this in all right, it's in the group. All right, so first things first, happy Sunday. Um, we're gonna hop straight into tonight's call. Hold on one second. Let me just check one more thing. Okay, that's there. All right, so how was trading last week? Should be great.
It was good until gold did what it did.
Okay. Anybody else?
GU was great.
GU was great. GU was actually amazing. Um, and gold actually didn't do bad. It just followed structure, but gold really just everything followed structure, actually, everything. And so even when we talk about like this current climate and everything of like, and this is why I need y'all to learn how to trade because when I tell y'all that all the charts are just doing like nothing, when people say, oh my God, well, we have a president that's crazy and he's making the market move every which way, this and that, whatever the case may be. When you go to your setups and you go to your charts, we're still following structure the whole time. Like every single time we're following structures. I really want you guys to learn structure and learn technicals like to the best of your ability because the markets are doing what it's supposed to do. I'll share charts in a second. I see we already have two questions, Faith and Mackenzie. Give me one second. I'm going to share the charts first because I don't want to get off track. And then also, one of y'all's classmates slash students. So I got contacted after Ian did his Ian talked about like all of his profits and stuff like that and where he was in the course, whatever the case may be. And then one of you guys' classmates, her name is Fabiola. I'm gonna have her talk towards the end of the call tonight. She withdrew 20,000, over $20,000. And she started the course around the same time Ian started. She has her 10-year-old daughter taking the course, which is just so beautiful to me because that is just amazing. And she claims, y'all know I got Chantel was my first millionaire student. Second millionaire student, he don't want to know, he don't want y'all to know who he is, but he's at about 780,000 right now trading. And so she says she's going to be the third millionaire student. So we gonna see. Okay, so we'll talk to her towards the end of tonight. But let's go over GU first. Let me share my screen. Hold on one second. And then if you're new to this call, especially on YouTube, I know that my charts have a lot on them. Okay, so I'm gonna prerequisite by saying that. But once you understand them, everything flows, everything goes, and yeah. Also, if you're new to these calls, I will never DM you, reach out to you, anything, because there still are a lot of people getting scammed. So just be aware of a whole bunch of fake people and fake Jessicas out here. Do not sign up for nothing. I don't trade for people. So don't like, if people try to get you to invest for them and claim it's me, it's not me. Okay. All right. I say that because somebody else just got scammed. And I'm like, how are people still getting scammed? At this point, I feel like people just don't be doing their due diligence or extremely desperate. I don't even know. Okay, so this is gold. When somebody said gold messed up or whatever case may be, gold still followed structure the whole way and came down to this trend line that's below. But what I really want to get into for tonight is GU. So let's go ahead and go to our I'm going to go into trading. Okay, so this ended up pushing up 400 pips from our entry. All right. Now I'm gonna tell y'all a couple things. So first off, we didn't have any, like I even updated the group that we didn't have anything telling us to sell at all. So I just kept putting my stop loss in profit. When we talk about trading, like our trading stopping points or whatever the case may be, like when I had set or when I put in the group that to put your stop losses, I put in the group right around like here about it being we had a lot of bullish momentum. So I told everybody to put their stop loss in profit when we got to this first zone and said we were approaching the first zone. I think it was like this, but because this was so bullish, again, it was just stop losses in profit because this could tell that this was breaking through the zone. Then we got up to this net zone. We didn't have any divergence or anything letting us know that this is about to fall. So again, stop losses just continued in profit. At this point, I think we were like, I was 200 something pips in profit. I don't know. Just go back to the group messages in Telegram. And then ultimately, which is why, what did we vow to last week? We said we were going to take everything step by step. So this is like the key reason as to why we do that. So we started out last week. I had 3 trades that I was looking at. The first was this first sale right here, which had already started to play out once we got on the call because the market had gapped down last week. Once the market gapped down, we were on this call and I drew this trend line on the call in regards to entry because I don't remember the young lady's name, but she was talking about how she thought that this was the retest when it gapped down and she was entering there. And I said, wait to make sure we have this trend line breaking retest because this was super important. So price broke, retested perfectly right around the zone area. We had divergence also. We had 3 different divergences. We had a higher time frame divergence from here, but then we also had like a smaller divergence, which is minor, but we have this and we have this here for minor structure. And then we shot straight into a buy. I think I had alerted again once price had gotten to start out here and then we broke this zone, came to this net zone. Now, opposed to respecting this trend line and shooting down from here, we just continued in profit, which is why I said to put your stop losses in profit and then just wait on take the next step by step. So the next step was once this broke, this ended up retesting this trend line here and then giving us the completion of basically the buy that you guys see on the higher time frame. Let's go to 4 hours. Wait, stay, come back. Here we go. Any questions on this? Is it understood? Anybody
Yes.
there? Please say a lot of y'all took it because we gave this out on the call and it was just clear as day.
Mhm.
Yeah. People were in the
Yeah.
buy. Debbie shaking yes. I hear some yeses. Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right. So, understanding, it was a question that we got last week, and I think it was understanding like how do you know if the market's going to keep going or how do you know when it's stopping or so forth and so on. The main thing which I always reiterate is understanding your stopping points. If you are a super busy person, then you would take it at a stopping point because you aren't at the market to see like necessarily like if this has a lot of momentum, if this has a lot of exhaustion. So if you work 9 to 5s and you're like constantly working and you can't like constantly go to the charts, because I would much rather you take profit at a stopping point than for literally consolidation to happen and wipe out all your profits. So that is one of those things where it's like when you're trading, you just have to understand that. And then you also have to understand that the market's always open. So even if a trade for you closes early and you didn't necessarily catch the whole move, profit is still profit. So there's a level of gratitude that not to say gratitude, but it's just like you don't know when structure is just going to completely break and literally shoot up all in one week. You know what I'm saying? Like this made my monthly goal. Like where you have a week goals, because when I talk about like even my trades, I specifically like you can have, and I've said this multiple times on a call, you can have a 40 pip move with a great lot size and hit your goal. Like, and not even over leverage, just have proper structure. You could have like 1 to 2 of those a week and you'll be set for your weekly goal, depending on what y'all's weekly goals are. I don't know what your compounding plans look like, but this whole thing, just moving this in profit, because I remember thinking like once this started like shooting higher and higher and higher, I was like, I should close this. Like I've well over my goal. Let me just close it. Let me just pull it. And then I literally was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put it all the way, my stop loss and profit, to where I'm not being greedy, because I'm just gonna see how far it runs. And it still hasn't hit my stop loss and profit. At one point, I had put my stop loss and profit at it was like 1.35, like 8-ish. And then I put it at the top of this. So it still hasn't hit it. I do expect price now to give us somewhat of a pullback, and then it will most likely shoot higher. But again, we have to take it step by step. Let's go to a higher time frame chart so you guys can see the overall structure. Ooh. Um, let's go to the daily so we can see everything. So, okay. Um, so this trend line, once you put it on the majority of price in regards to the daily, when price gapped down last week, it pushed to this. However, well, first off, based off of our main structure, our TP is still up here long term. But remember, these long terms don't matter in regards to our day-to-day trading. Remember, you have to understand major structure and minor structure both cohesively, not major structure over minor structure and not minor structure over major structure. You have to understand both of them together. So understanding our overall major structure just lets us know where we are in the market, so that when you have certain areas, you're not surprised by certain things. It's like, okay, this is what it is, right? But when you're in your minor structure, this is when you're taking it step by step, so that you like no different than this past week. Like, okay, that level, when we got to that trend line, like everybody knows when it comes to a level of resistance or a level of a trend line area, support, supply and demand zones, when we talk about zones, trend lines as well as supply and demand areas are levels of support and resistance, right? We all agree. Okay. When you get to these areas, price can either respect or reject it. Respecting it is, I tested a trend line. I tested a trend line. I tested a trend line. And then sometimes we'll completely break them. You don't know when structure is going to break. That's the part about trading that you don't know. You follow the structure, but you don't know necessarily. When I talk about it's not if, it's when, we know things are going to happen over time, but the when part is what we're going through when we're actually analyzing. So when it came to that smaller trend line that was above, let's go down to a 1 hour. I'll draw it on here. Actually, I'll draw it. Let's actually go to our chart. So when it came to this smaller trend line that's here, price could have very well got to this trend line and then pushed back down. No different than here. We went into this consolidation. Price could have easily gotten right here and then pushed back down. So it's not necessarily if things are going to happen, it's when they're going to happen. So that overall move to the upside, when price got here, instead of testing this trend line here and pushing down, back down to this zone, we broke it, retested it, and then continue higher. Does that make sense? Everybody,
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Yeah,
any,
it does make sense.
any
Yeah.
questions on anything as I'm going?
Jess, I have a question because my chart looks so different from yours. I actually thought GU was going to go into a sale. based on the markups that I have and the divergence, which I see looks like what you have on your chart. But price obviously did the opposite.
You had divergence right here.
No, I have it where you have it. Like the longer divergence lines that you have right there. Yeah.
Right here. This
Yep.
one.
Yep.
So you went into a buy from this divergence, right?
Wait, actually, let me see. Oh, you know what? My divergence looks different. So I have it. Can I show you my chart?
Yeah.
Okay.
Share your chart.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Allow. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see your screen. So
What time frame is it?
hold on
This
though.
is a 15-minute.
Hold on. What's the rule drawing divergence first off?
Well, divergence is when price is doing the opposite.
But what's the rule in
Line
regards to
should be above.
yes? Your lines need to be so this is why you have to when you're on an uptrend going down, your lines need to be at the top. When you're on a downtrend going up, your lines need to be at the bottom. So this right here is right to the left. To the left, right. Hold on, let me annotate. This part is right here, right? You see how that's going down? You have that trend line at the bottom.
Right here.
Go up. No, where I put that check to the left.
I can't see it. Oh, okay.
You see?
Yeah, right
Oh, wait,
here.
hold on, let me move that now. Yes, but you have to hold on. Okay, let me
I
just
feel like I asked you this last week if it mattered, and I thought you said it like how I had it is how it could be, but it sounds like what you're saying is that
no,
like
it definitely matters.
okay.
It definitely matters. I think, did you write that in the community too? Because I responded in the community also that it definitely matters.
I did, but I haven't gone back to check it.
Oh yeah, I responded earlier loud. When did I respond? Hold on, I could just pull it up. Um let's see. We're looking at your chart, right?
Yeah,
Hold
I
on.
think so.
We are. I'm just trying to make sure. Hold on. I'm trying to pull up the community real quick. Y'all see the community? Y'all can't see it.
No, you want me to stop sharing?
Um,
Oh, I need to go get those lights.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the pen and the tones out.
Hold on. I know I responded to you. Wait, where is it?
On the 24th.
Monisha. I thought I responded to you, girl. Did I not respond to you?
It's on the 24th.
There we go.
Okay, yeah. So right here, sure. So right here, divergence question, doesn't matter where you draw divergence on the trend. For example, here on GU, I drew divergence underneath price instead on top. It was an uptrend, maybe overthinking, but doesn't matter to draw divergence. I put no, it definitely matters where you draw it on an uptrend going into a downtrend like this one, you draw it on the top, not the bottom.
Okay.
That's super important. And understand it. Did y'all just see my screen? Did I share a screen?
No, I'm
Jess, isn't that hidden divergence?
We saw the
Yes, we saw the
Community.
message
Okay.
community in the community.
Okay.
Oh, so that's what happened.
Okay. Okay. So right here, I don't like drawing divergence from the bottom at all.
okay.
Not at all. Because you can get confused by it. So you have divergence anywhere
Oh, okay.
during that time.
Okay.
Hold
So
on.
it looks like that's one of the mistakes that I made.
Yeah, because if I stare at this,
No,
who's
I'm
back up?
sorry, somebody's a lot of background noise.
Catherine.
Hold on. Who do I need to mute? Mute.
Her name is Catherine, Jessica.
Catherine?
I think she just muted.
Okay. All right. My screen. Sure. Oh, wait. Okay. So here,
Mhm.
I think you had it right here.
Okay.
This is still, you see how both of these are going up? This is going up and this is going up. They're not doing the opposite.
Hmm.
And you
Where?
always want to line it up also.
Okay.
So this is not doing the opposite of this. These are both going up. However, if you look at the one below,
I don't
you
know
have
why I
this
can't see what
down
you're marking.
and you can't see. Can y'all see my screen?
Yeah, I can see.
No, we
We,
don't.
No.
we
Oh,
see
we see her
her
screen.
screen.
Oh, but she's doing
Jess,
I
I
see
see
Jess'
your
screen.
screen.
Yeah, I see Jess' screen.
Yeah, I saw Jessica's screen too.
All right. Everybody see my screen?
Yes,
Now we
no.
do.
Yeah, now we
Yeah.
do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. So let's just go over. I don't know why are these off? Okay. Oh, that's on a different time
Happens.
frame. That's why.
Yeah, time frame.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so let me not move nothing. Okay, so you see how this is going up? This is
Mhm.
going up.
Mhm.
They weren't doing the opposite.
Right.
You see that?
Right.
I want you to go back to that divergence assignment in the course and go practice it. Oh, this was the one I moved. I'm like, why is that? It looks super awkward on the 1 hour. But you see how now higher, high, higher, high, higher, high, high, lower, high, lower, high. You see that?
Mhm.
Go into price right here. Higher, high, higher, high, lower highs.
Mhm.
You see the difference?
Yeah, I thought that's what I was doing, but I'll go back and practice because I've been struggling with divergence for a minute. So
Can I add?
Yes, please go and practice because it's divergence is like that's like not a red flag, but it's like when it's near, it's giving you indicators like ding 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 ding. I'm about to turn around. Like it's so important for your additional confluences.
Jess, this is Aaron, Johnisha's husband. I'm here all. Hey, just to confirm with you, on a downtrend, if you see divergence, you should be marking the divergence on the bottom of the trend. You should be seeing it on the bottom of the trend, and then on an uptrend, you should be marking divergence on the top of the trend.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So like over here to the right or to the left over here, you
Yeah.
have this. This is the bottom of the trend. We going down. This is at the bottom, so we making lower lows throughout, and then right here we making higher lows.
Yeah.
Higher low. This is higher. You see that?
Mhm.
Jess.
Go through and practice that.
Okay.
Jess.
Yes,
Isn't there something called hidden divergence?
I don't teach hidden divergence.
Oh, yeah, I get it, but it can still throw someone off because they will see something like that.
Well, that's why I don't teach it. I only teach it how I see
Okay.
it because I don't like to. There's a lot of stuff in trading. You got so much stuff in trading, like a lot. It's a lot of stuff. So there is a such thing called hidden divergence. I don't teach hidden divergence because I don't use it because there will be times where in the past I've seen hidden divergence and it not play out it exclusively like regular divergence does. So you do have hidden divergence to understand continuations of trends, but there's a lot of people that get hung up on them. So I teach in this course what is 1 + 1 = 2 and will make you money every single time without a question of a doubt. But
We
there
love
is
that.
such thing as hidden divergence. There's a such thing as Rankos. There's a such thing as Ichimoku cloud. There's a such thing as Elliott wave. There's a such thing. There are so many different ways and methodologies of how people approach the market. It's just specifically in this course and how I teach. I just teach what I do on a consistent basis that's made me a great deal of money and others a great
Hey,
deal.
hey, Jess,
Yes.
if you don't do it, I don't do it.
Okay. Well, yeah. But this the thing though, because I tell people all the time, when you learn how to trade, whoever you start with, just stick with that person. Like I've had people start with other people and then be like, Jessica, can you teach me? I'm like, you should do what works best for you because I also don't knock out anybody else's trades. I feel like as long as everybody make money, I'm not gonna say that my way is better than so many people, others or whatever. I just know what has consistently gotten me paid and what's consistently gotten other people paid and what's consistently made testimonials. And it's literally those 12 assignments that y'all got in y'all's course. So it's not that other people, and I have a friend who trades hidden divergence. You know what I'm saying? And again, I've seen hidden divergence not work out long term continuously. Like it's kind of like it's like the reps. Like, does it work
Well,
sometimes? Yeah. Does it work
well,
consistently?
your way works for us. That's all that matters.
Okay, thanks.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, so does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so let me go in order of the hands because I want to get to I want to save the last Fabiola. Because I told her I was going to give the last 30 minutes to her. I didn't realize we just went through 30 minutes that fast.
I'm here.
Hey girl.
Hey,
Um,
I don't need 30 minutes. I won't talk a lot.
okay. All right. I was just saving room for questions that people had on, but okay. All right. I should have did you first and then went to the charts. Okay. So, Faith,
How you doing, Jess?
hey.
Hey, quick question. Last week I heard somebody say something about you can always restart your fib on smaller structure. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Um, so y'all know I be super busy in a week and I don't be remembering the questions. Can somebody remind me of the question?
It was just somebody that was talking. I don't remember who it was, but she was talking about fibs, and I just know it was about on minor structure, you can restart it as many times as you need, as opposed to larger structure, you wouldn't do that.
So if I had to assume or guess, I would say, I don't want to say guess, but you have a higher time frame fit that stays still. So like even when I share like so for instance, so you have these fibs that don't move on a higher time frame. But then inside of structure, you have, oops, say, come on, come back. Inside of structure, you have multiple fibs all throughout. So if I break this down, no different than your course where you have like the smaller fibs that's inside of everything. So I have, let's say, a high to a low right here. Price hits -27. Then I have a low to a high right here. Price hits -27. Then I have a high to a low right here. You see what I'm saying? Where you have like all of these smaller fibs inside of the overall.
And then you would just pull them as needed.
Yeah, but also like as trends continue, you can just keep adding them. I think that was her question. So I don't know if me drawing them on top of each other is confusing people, but let's stop this. So you see how I have that higher time frame fib, but inside of that higher time frame fib, I'm drawing other ones.
Mhm.
So like even inside of this small structure right here, you still have like I vaguely remember the question, but I don't remember it exactly. But you see how like that this is the first part of that trend. It's point A, point B, price pulls back, hits -61.8. We know -61.8 is a reversal on major structure, but on higher time frame, I mean on smaller structure is just a pullback, but technically it's reversing on that smaller structure. So where we went up, we're no longer going up, we're going down. So -61.8 even though it's a continuation, it's still on this trend, it reversed. Does that make sense?
Came in my
Yes.
notes.
Okay. Then you can either just like extend that. So point A, point B hits -27, or you can draw a new fib depending on when you approach the market at that time. So I think that was the question where you have point A, point B, then this. So you can just keep drawing new fibs. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
That's what I was making sure I was doing right, because I usually draw a new one once it hits -61. And
Okay, yeah.
I would literally, because you could draw one at that -61 on making a downtrend as well. And
Yeah,
then,
right here. Point A to point B, draw it here.
mhm.
Let me delete for people that's like, what is she talking about? This is what she just asked me. Cause once that hit -61.8 on that part, she asked, could she draw a new one to here?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Okay, okay. And then if there's ever like, let's say minor structure matches structure is -61.8 and it matches major structure near like on or around like a -27, like would you go ahead and just take that -27 as your
TP?
TP?
Yes, 100%. I always take -27s as my TP because sometimes they don't reach -61.8 unless I see a whole bunch of aggression and so forth and so on as price continues. But this was what I wanted to say. So this structure here, once you put this trend line on a majority of price, so this is why adjusting trend lines are important too, because if we go based off of this structure, price still has some room to go down. But once you adjust this to the majority of price, meaning how many, like you see how touch is perfect, touch is perfect, touch is perfect. Right here, it just tested out of this. And you see how that gap down last week was that last one right here. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
But it took us
Yes.
taking price step by step to understand that, because that didn't finish completion until we were already trading last week, if that makes sense. Because at that point right here, we were right here when the market opened. Y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense? And then even with the young lady who had asked, that being, hold on, let me go to that actual chart. When the young lady had asked last week, was this the entry right here? This is why I have you guys understand the minor structures. And this is no different than y'all's course, where it's the minor trend line breaking retest over the major trend line breaking retest. Because basically this is a minor, but when it broke and retested, it retested this higher time frame trend line is right here, as well as this minor trend line right here, which is basically double confirmation. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see.
As well as basically being at this zone. Now, you know it wasn't going to go below the zone because on the higher time frame through here, we had exhaustion in that zone area. Where are we? Here. So I would have to move these, but you see how here we had all of these this wick exhaustion right here. Y'all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
That's not adjusting them on major structure, even if it goes way past -61.8, you just leaving it where it is, right?
You say what?
Major structure. Even if the price goes way past, say TP1 is your TP, or TP, let's say TP2 is reversal, but it goes, let's say it keeps going way past -61.8, you're just leaving your fib where it is, correct?
Well, which fib you talking about, the one that I have, or you have one drawn on that shot past it?
I'm just saying, just in general on major structure, yeah. If the price goes way past -61.8, you're not adjusting your fib on major structure, correct?
No, I'm never adjusting my fib on major structure, but typically at a -61.8, because this is a major structure, right? Like I have this -61.8, that's a major structure that price literally reversed. But if you look at the totality of price, You see, remember, we in GU been in consolidation for a while. So once we look at the totality of price, you see how like we still got this negative 27 that's up here long term.
Right.
You see that?
And you said that was from a higher time frame, Fib, Jess?
Yeah, so this fib that's drawn all the way over here is here. We just never still reached that. So it's all the way over here, so you can't see this one. But we still haven't reached that over here long term. But regardless, these long terms, remember, they don't matter they always matter. Let me not say that. They always matter, but in your everyday trading time frames, when you're looking at your structure, you're looking at your more
Your right now money.
yes.
Okay, got it.
You still have these inside of it.
But to get to
Y'all
her
remember
point,
remember last week when I told y'all my only holdup, which makes sense. My only holdup that I had in the DXY was what?
23.
Remember I said that's my only thing of if GU keeps going up, it would be because that DXY had only pulled to that 23.6. Remember I said that last week?
yes, you did.
Yes.
So here on this DXY right here, we had not pulled back past that 23.6 area. So we were just continuing down. And then in that, this was when it was confirmed here. And this was also why I just kept putting it in profit. So here, I'm gonna explain these smaller trend lines for y'all. So, because they look like crisscross applesauce, but it really makes a lot of sense. So we had this trend line here, which was basically, yeah, this was this whole week. So this was basically the break and retest of, hold on. Let me explain this step by step. Okay, so, and I'm gonna delete this one because this is not gonna make sense for a second. Okay, so this is where we were like, okay, we had options, which was when last week when I said, raise your right hand, we are not going to take anything until we have confirmation of everything because we had a break and retest of this trend line here, but then we were also break and retesting here. So then it's like, okay, is this going into, because based off of this trend line alone, this would be a buy. But when you add the additional part of structure, this is a sell. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is why when you have like couple things going on, you just really got to sit on your hand until you have extra confirmation based off of multiple confluences lined up. You never want to. The main thing, if I had to tell y'all anything, the reason why trading is so important and why it frustrates me when people like ask questions like when people first get in a course and it's like, okay, that's why y'all remember that document that used to be at the beginning of the course and it was a course rundown and people weren't reading it. And I'm like, if you don't pay attention to trade, like stuff like that, yeah, it was small. Like, yes, people probably super excited to hop into the video, so never read it. That's why I ended up making like an introductory video because it's like, okay, you have to pay attention to everything in trading. If you don't pay attention to everything, you will get smacked. Like it's like a situational awareness assignment. Like when even when you're in life, okay, one of my main things that I'm a very situational awareness type of person. I remember one time, like I don't even pull in parking spots. Anytime I drive, I always back in a parking space. I remember when I first started dating Michael and he was like, I like when he used to drive, I used to be like, why are you pulling in? You need to back in. And you could call it paranoid, whatever you want it. But it's like you always have to have situational awareness in everything. Okay. So this is like, okay, let me sit on my hands. Let me figure what are my additional confluences as to why I'm getting in this. Boom, boom, boom. Then I have this structure. Okay. So once I shot down super aggressive for this, we already know, okay, if I retest here, I'm most likely more than not going to come to a second retest of this. This is just understanding the DSY. Now we also know there's inverse. So we inverse to GU. So this is basically what's happening right now. But once that price did this, and then it gave us this minor retest of this to continue lower was the break and retest of that trend line on GU that was here. That makes sense? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Very much so.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take a picture of y'all last hands because I want to get to Fabiola. Okay. Mackenzie, Jocelyn, Melissa. Hey, Melissa. Hi. Let's
Hello.
go. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm happy to see your face. Okay. So do y'all mind if we come back to y'all questions next week and get my girl Fabiola on here for the last 15?
No, but can I say something real
Yeah,
quick about
that's
the
cool.
lady that needs help with the divergence? That's all I really want to say.
Yeah.
To the lady that needed help with divergence, this is what I told my brother, for every time, if you're in an uptrend, every time you see a higher high, look at the previous high and then look at the RSI and you'll see if there's a divergence. If it's a downtrend, look at your lower low, then look at your previous low and look at your RSI and see if there's a divergence. That's the best way and the easiest way to tell if there's a divergence. That's all I got to say. Fabiola, you can go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Oh, Fabiola. Well, let me ask you, would you prefer go next week or you want to talk right now?
No, I want to get it out the way.
Okay. All right. Well, my girl Fabiola. Hey, girlfriend. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you guys?
We're good. We're good. Okay. So Fabiola, do you want to start or you want me to intro you?
You can go.
Okay, so Fabiola, like I said last or a couple weeks ago when Ian was going, I love when I hear just my students' testimonials, and I have a lot of them, but like sometimes I don't have people come speak. But I wanted her to come speak because especially after hearing her daughter, she has her daughter taking the course and she's 10. I just think that that's super beautiful because it is, it's really generational wealth. But then another reason I wanted her to speak because she trades futures only. And so I tell people all the time in my course, I have options traders only, I have forex traders only, I have futures traders only. I have some students who literally, like Miss Barbara, only does indices. Like you learn technical analysis, and once you learn technical analysis, you apply it to whatever market resonates with you. So when people say, "Oh, Jessica's only a forex trader," it's like forex is the hardest thing to trade, which makes it the most beautiful because once you know how to do that, you know how to do everything. Who microphone is that?
That's Reginald. That's
Okay.
Reginald.
Okay. Reggie, I'm about
He
to
needs to
mute
mute.
you. You know how to basically trade everything. But another thing that stuck out to me because actually, I'm gonna let you go, Fabiola.
Okay.
Okay.
My name is Fabiola. I live in Florida. I learned about trading in August 2023. I took a course. And when I took the course, y'all, I didn't even know what a pip was. So out of all I think it was like 30 of us in the course, and I asked the question, I was like, what is a pip? And so they laughed, and I'm like, what is that? But then when I did the course, I'm like, oh, I like this. So then I just kept doing it and doing it. I learned a lot from that course. Then I think the first pair I traded was gold. And the reason I chose gold was because um the instructor was like, here's all the pairs, pick a pair. And I was like, well, I like gold, so I wear gold, I'm gonna just trade gold. So I trade gold for maybe like 5, 6 months. I thought I knew how to trade. I didn't know how to trade. And then I think I came across Jessica course on accident on YouTube, one of her videos. I was just looking for I think price action and structure. And I came across it and I was like, what is this? So when I was looking at her charts, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much on there. It was confusing to me at first. But then I think I was talking to my sister and she was like, well, just go ahead and give it a try. You don't know, you say you looking for something that's more concrete. Because I think when I started trading, we learned how to trade more. For me, when I went back, I said, okay, I learned how to gamble. I didn't learn how to trade. So then when I kept watching the YouTube videos, I think I watched the videos for about a week. And then when I went on the website, I noticed she was gonna have the summit. So I did the summit. I think that was in March 2024. Yeah, it was March. And then I went to Atlanta. So I was trading, I was doing like little trades. I think after I took the course, it took me about 4 to 5 months to really see structure. I thought I saw it. And then when I went and I was like, oh, well, I asked Jessica a question in, I think in July. And I was like, well, I see structure, but I'm losing trades. And she's like, well, you don't see structure then. And I was like, okay. So I was, felt a little like, wow, okay.
And she said I
So
was rude. Don't
she
forget.
was, she was. She's
I
like,
was
well, sis, you don't see structure. And I was like, okay, well, girl, you rude for that. That was a rude little comment, but okay. So I went back, like, I did travel nursing. I'm a travel nurse. And when I tell y'all, when I was at work, I worked night shift. When my patients sleep, I had my headphones in. I didn't really talk to anybody. I just used to sit at the desk and just marking my charts. They used to laugh at me. They'd be like, why you always drawing lines on your computer? I'm like, them lines gonna make me money. So I did the structure assignment over and over. After she said that, I think that was like in July. I did the structure assignment over. I did homework assignment number 2. When I say I did it over, I used to be on them charts like 10, 12, 15 hours. On my day off, I was on them charts because I'm traveling. I didn't have my kids. I didn't have anything to do. So I was just on the charts. So I was profitable a while, but I just never said anything because I wanted to be more consistent. So I took like I think 174 and I flipped it to like 11,000 in like 3 weeks. Then I got greedy. Then I didn't know I was greedy till I started trading. I was like, oh, I'm a greedy person, so I need to fix that. So then I started to not be too greedy. I started to like have a little more trading plan. And then I was doing good. Like I wasn't like making big money, but I'll take like 250 and by the end of the week and I'll have like maybe like 2,500. And then I'll start it over. Then I'll do it again. And then um I'm not a patient person when it comes to trading. So I was talking to one of my buddies who trades and he was like, why don't you try futures? And I'm like, what's that? So he's like, look it up, just try futures. So I started with like a demo account with futures. And then I was like, ooh, I like how fast this move. And once I trade, once I make like, once I go from zone to zone, I'm satisfied. Like I don't have to be in a trade 2, 3 days. I can't. I don't like to be in trade that long. So with futures, it's fast. Like it's faster. I trade NASDAQ. I only trade one pair. I only trade NQ, which is NASDAQ. I only trade that. And in a matter of like 15, 20 minutes, you could catch 100 points, 50, 60, 80 points, and I'm done. So it depends on the amount of contracts that you put on there, and I'm done. So when I was trading futures, I think I started trading futures maybe September, and then December, on my way to my assignment, I crashed like on in Chicago. So I ended up losing my truck and I was like in ICU and all that stuff. So I couldn't trade in December. So I had to come back home. And honestly, trading was that's how I paid my bills. From December, like I couldn't move my left arm and stuff, but that's how I was able to pay my bills from December till now. So I think when Jessica, she wasn't on there. I think it was Mr. Tony that was on there. And I went to write her a couple times. I was like, let me leave her alone. I'm like, no, I think she should know because, like, people take the course. And I think a lot of the success stories was what kept me going. I think I watched Chantel's and I watched a lot of the other success stories online. I was like, you know what? Let me just say something. I was like, well, Jessica, guess what? I did a thing. And she's like, what? I was like, well, I'm profitable and I was able to withdraw like in 1 week. I don't know what I was going through that week. Like when I traded that week, I traded with no emotions. It was just like, okay, I got this. Okay, I'm taking the trade. And it was like, it moved so fast. It was so easy. And then I got scared. I went back to work. So I was like, ooh. So in 1 week, like, it'll take me a while to make 20,000 in one, and I did it in like a week. And I'm withdrawing and I'm like, ooh, this is too much. So I went back to work. So like every time people like, well, on Sundays I'm at work. I'm following along on Zoom, but most of the time, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back to work. This is too much. Like, how do you make all this money in 1 week? But I'm like, wait, this is what I put all that work in, all the hours I be on there, and I prayed for this, and now I got it, and it's like, it's, I don't know, it just scared me. But I was, I told Jessica or whatever, but then I started back. I was like, you know what? I took time off, and whenever like I lose, I'll live trade, but on TradingView. So I'll take the trade, I'll do the setup like I'm taking a trade. I just don't take it on my account. Just so I can like, get back into the motion. But that's about it.
So, okay, so now the questions are coming. So let me tell you this. Well, first off, I wanted her to share her transparent story with you guys because that is a point where even, I don't know if y'all ever remember me telling y'all about Omar or Omar ever speaking. And he said specifically, like, he started making a whole bunch of money and then it's like, oh shit. And remember, I told y'all with me, I could only get my account to $100,000 and then have to withdraw it back down because I was scared of like getting money over $100,000 because I had lost $100,000. So that was my mental hang up. Then you have, well, who's another person that I could just think in the back of my brain?
Was it
Moral of what I'm trying to say is that
Rebecca?
no, not Rebecca, but moral what I'm trying to say is like you get to this point in trading where literally it gets to the point where it's like you versus you. And that's where the psychology hits in. And it's like you have the skill set and you're consistently profitable. And it's like you get to this point because I remember in my own journey where I got to the point I was like, oh shit, like, is this real? Like, do I really have it? Like, hold on. Hold on, God. I see what you're doing for me. Hold on 1 second. Do I really have this? Hold on. Was I really lucky this week or do I have it? And then you get it again and you're like, hold on. I think I just saw that. Wait. I saw it and now it's in my account. Hold on. I saw it and now I withdrew it. Hold up. I saw it and now I'm paying my bills. Like it's like a real like evolution. And I'm not that far removed from it. Like I remember that feeling. So like when she told me that part, when I spoke to her earlier, I was like, oh yeah, you definitely have to talk about that because it is a very real thing. And it can when she said that hearing other people's testimonials is what kept her going. But I want to say that for anybody who is like getting to the hump of like, okay, I'm making more money than I've ever made before. Like, what do I do now? Like, that is why I wanted her to speak on this because it's a real thing. Like people always say, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a millionaire. But what you gonna do when you start to see hundreds of $1,000s in your account? Because people haven't faced their true self when they actually have money. And that comes to a whole different learning curve. Even when you talk about people who are rich and go broke and rich and go broke and stuff like that because they never had money, like it's real feelings. So if you haven't gotten there yet, those are real feelings that you're going to have to like start thinking about as you approach them. And then we just need to do a psychology call soon. I've been saying it, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it, especially now that we're approaching July. Actually, let's go ahead and book it. Let's do a psychology call. Um, do y'all want to do it on the Monday night call, or should we do it as a Sunday call?
Sunday.
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 Sunday, please.
Okay. All right. So maybe we'll do it on the 6th. Y'all want to do next Sunday? Yeah, let's do next Sunday to start off the month.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, let's do that.
Right.
But that is a very real thing. And like even when I told y'all like how I worked on my psychology when it got to a certain places, I would place literally live trades in my account with the lot size I was comfortable with, then place super big lot sizes in another demo. Because remember I told y'all that's the only way I would use a demo account when I was learning how to like get my psychology to the next level. I would place larger trades in a demo account and trade it just like my real account so I could start to condition my mind to see the larger numbers fluctuating. Because when you get your account to a certain amount, seeing negative 10,000 in drawdown is it happens just like that, but you have to like be prepared for it. Because if you're not prepared for it, seeing that could scare somebody like that. Okay. Fabiola, is there anything else you wanted to share? Oh, I also wanted to share the whole futures thing because like I said, once you learn structure, how do you feel like, do you feel like, or actually, Fabiola, you can say this. How do you feel like this course has helped you prior to taking the course?
Um, I would say it's more concrete and more foundation. So like I mentioned, I'm a nurse, so a lot of things have to make sense to me. I go based on logic and just I mean, I'm not knocking other traders because I tried other things like ICT and all that other stuff. If it works for you, it works for you. But for me, things just it has to be concrete. It has to make sense. For me, it was straight to the point. And whenever I lost a trade, I never like, oh, the market was crappy. It was just like, okay, Fabiola, did you wait for your confluences? What kind of did you have your trend line break test and retest? Are you at a zone? Like that's just for me, it's more concrete. It's textbook. It was easy, straight to the point. So yep.
Is there any questions that you guys have for her?
Oh, I do want to point out with futures, you know how we have the foundation assignment
Mm-hmm.
with I just use zones.
Yeah.
I just use you know how you do I just use higher time frame zone. Yeah, we are on YouTube, so yeah. I just use zones.
So futures is basically just like so when I say US 30, right? Like how I want you guys to be experienced before you trade like US 30 or like, because that like she said, it's no different like US 30, Dow Jones, like NASDAQ, S&P, all of those things like they move very, 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 very fast. So you have to really learn the skill set. And where she says she trades with no emotion, it's very important that you get to that point before you are taking these faster assets.
Right.
Master your mind first, and then everything else flows from there. But I was super proud of her. And I was also happy that she reached out with her testimonial because honestly, trading just changed my life. And I would not be where I am if I didn't have it. And I do know not to pat myself on my own self on the back, but I do know that like don't nobody got as many testimonials as I got out of no trader. Like at period point blank. I know my system work. I know that my course works. Like even when people say $3,000 is expensive for a course, no, it's not. Like I honestly feel like I should not I feel like I've been told on multiple occasions that I charge too less because the that $3,000 is a drop in a bucket to what you're gonna make once you finish the course. Period. So, anyways, not to toot my own horn, but toot toot.
We love that, bro.
We
Any
appreciate you,
questions?
Jess.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Would I be able to ask a question, guys?
Yeah, what was the question?
Because I'm so glad she shared her testimony. I think I've spoken before because I also came from stocks and I came from futures, so I was already in that asset class before I found Jess. And it is so much more guarantee. Like I lose, way less trades than, what I learned previously before finding Jess's course. I think my biggest challenge was because we moved to the 15-minute, we have, potentially bigger stop losses than other kind of quote unquote. So I was wondering if Fabiola could speak on sizing.
Your phone is breaking up super bad, but she said, can you speak on lot sizes, Fabiola?
Yeah. And like how you handle the stop loss with moving to the kind of more structured trades.
Okay, so my highest time frame where I get my setups will be the 1 hour. That's where I place my fib. Trend lines, that does not move. 15 minutes is where I would be looking for my zone break retest and all that. I'll look for that. But my entry, because you do know you cannot have a big stop loss, my entry is more than likely on the 1 minute. So once I just go down. I'll go from 1 hour.
All right. Look,
Okay.
look.
I
Because
don't,
there's a
I'm
lot of
just
people on
saying.
YouTube, we just gonna say we gotta enter her with a lot of confirmations, not knocking what she does, okay? But she's advanced. And I don't want people who not advanced to take that and run with it.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody said let's save that for a Monday call. Let's save that for a Monday call. Okay.
Okay, I'll ask on Monday.
Yeah,
Because
ask
the
on
stop
Monday.
loss was
I
the
need to leave
biggest
it on
challenge.
Monday. Because I need people who are like not trying to the thing about trading, okay, and this is I don't mean to like, micromanage, but this is so true about trading is like when people try to dibble and dab into everything, they end up messing themselves up before they have the system. Her system's already set and she's already successful in it. So I don't mind, like I've said this on numerous occasions, like learn the trading, learn the skill set first. Then you can apply it to whatever asset class you want. I do not care. As long as you're making money and you came from me, that's all I care about is that you're profitable and you successful. I don't care how you approach it. Like if there are certain things, because if there are certain things you want to like tweak or whatever case may be, but the foundation stays the same, meaning you have to understand structure. There's no other way to do structure. You have to understand like Fibonacci, you're drawing it from a high to a low. You're never drawing it in the middle of the chart for no reason. Like zones, like those certain things that are concrete, divergence, you can't, I don't care what asset class, like those are certain things that are concrete without a shadow of doubt you have to do. The swaying of things is like more so like Rebecca likes to enter off of her 45. I mean, likes to look at her 45 minutes sometimes, where she just says she likes to look at her 1 minute for her entries on her futures. Like, I don't really care about none of that when it comes to like after you perfect the skill. But you got to perfect the skill first. You can't be a baby, then say, I want to hop in a 1 minute because you're gonna lose your account. You also can't be a baby and not know nothing about trading and hop in the NASDAQ or US 30 without having a foundation and understand. Because at that point, you're gonna start gambling and you're going to literally mess up your psychology and then you'll never learn how to trade. Not to say never, but when people approach trading and they literally don't learn the skill set and they're just constantly gambling and treating it like a guessing game, they get extremely discouraged and never ever learn a skill because they just be like, oh, that's a scam. The market took my money. And then they talk down about trading and that's not actuality. Okay. Any other words you want to say, Fabiola?
The only thing I would say, it did take me a while to see structure. Just don't put a time on it. Just do the assignment. I think I asked the question about when will you know you see structure? You will just know. I think we went over that before. You just don't know. It took me a while for assignment number 2. And even now, sometime I'll still go back and be like, okay, let me make sure I'm doing it right. If I have any doubt or any question, I just go back to the assignments, especially assignment number 2.
I'm happy you said that because people be thinking I'm being an asshole when I say I'm not gonna go over assignment number 2
Yeah.
on calls. But what from your perspective, um, how would you, well, like you just said, you just see it. Like people, you know how you just said that you thought that I was rude when I said, well, you don't see structure. I think people think I'm rude when I say it don't matter how many times I go over structure. Like I could go over it, but until you see it, you're not gonna get it.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's nice to like, when people get on the other side of that assignment, they're like, oh, okay, I understand why she said that, but it's like you have to go through that part first. Anything else you want to share?
Oh, I'm shy.
No. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you. Um, yeah, I feel like there was another question that somebody had asked, but I forgot what it was. Dang, what was it? Mm, I had a brain freeze, y'all.
Is it about lot sizes?
No, I don't remember. Hopefully I think about it, and then if so, I'll just ask you next Sunday.
Okay, I'll be here.
So cute.
Okay, well, I love y'all so much. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Fabiola, for coming
you.
on.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Thank you
Thank
both.
you so
Thank you,
much.
Jess. We
Thank
love you
you.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Good night,
everyone.
everyone.